Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this first UNCT website training video where we will be discussing how to add content to your website. So if you're watching this video, these are a few things to consider before beginning to migrate your content. So you've got all your content ready on your Google Sheet. You've got all the photos ready. And you have a shell site to begin migrating. What do we mean by a shell site? A shell site is basically an online site where you're going to be adding all your content, but the site won't be live. And this is good because we don't want to be putting up content on a live site as we are migrating. So your shell site might look something, your URL might look something like your country team's name.countryteam.org. And then to enter this, you would type in your the name of your country.countryteam.org/user, and I'll be showing you what that looks like. And the idea is then that once we are ready to, we've done the mapping. If you currently have a website, we've done the mapping with the links from the old website to the new websites. We would make this happen, and then that would be redirecting to the name of your country.un.org. So today we're going to be looking at how to add different types of content, agency contact details, a story, an author, a basic page, a photo story, a video story, publications, and speeches. So let's get right into it, and I'll just test try this with you guys so that when you are ready to enter, so let's say I will try the Rhonda website, which they just got one, so rhonda.countryteam.org. The moment you add the /user, it will ask you for a username and a password. By this time, you should already have received a username and a password from me. If you have not received this just yet, then please send me an email to pilar.lagos@undg.org, and I'll make that happen. So this is the only way that you can access your shell site where we'll start migrating the content. So let's get right into it. So this is I'm going to be using the development site of Turkmenistan. So this site is not live. This is just another website that we have just to test things before we deploy them to the live site. So this is not going to go live. I'm not going to be messing around with any content. This is just a space where I'm going to be showing you and doing the demo. So once you type in your information, right? So, and we log in here too. So just so we do this from a clean site and a site that already has content, you would be going straight into where it says content, right? So let's click here on content. And we would want to be adding, if you've got a multilingual site, then it's going to ask you if you want to translate this, but please don't pay any attention. So this is kind of like what the backend looks like. This is a Drupal 8 multi-site. And I'm just going to let you know what some of these things here mean before we get into how to create this content. So content here, this is where all of your content lives, right? So you are able to select what type of content, if you want to filter out a certain type of content, you can do it through here. You can look at the published status, if there's any moderation status. This will come into play when you have collaborators or other people contributing content, and you don't necessarily want them to be able to publish it. So this is what that means. So a revised draft would be a content editor that can look at a revised draft and publish it or unpublish it at the same time. And then here you'll see a list of the different languages available. So as we get more country teams that are going to have their websites in different languages, we're going to be adding more to this. So these are the ones we have so far. So this site by default is in English. Then we have the media. So anytime you upload any content, it will be going to live in this part of the website. So any media you want to put up here you'll find it right here. Then you've got the authors. And this is an important thing to mention because the reason why we were asking you to update the IMS is because we're pulling all of the information from the IMS pertaining to the UNCT and the UNCG. And how do we know this? So if you put from API, this is the IMS API, and we filter it, this is all information that has come in via that API. And why is this amazing? Because you don't need to input this information over and over again. All you have to do is to put a photo in case they are part of our team or part of the media context, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So that's that. And then if you have some other contributors that are going to post a story, or you want to publish a story of someone, then you're also able to add it in a content management system. That is also a possibility. So you see here we've got Michelle Bachelet, we've got some certain thought leaders or just people around the UN, or even people working in governments or ministries or whatnot, that we could potentially add here as an author. Then here we've got the SDGs. And what does this mean? This is all the information coming in via the API, via UN Info. So this is the UN Info factor. We generally do not touch this unless you've made a change in UN Info. Then you want that update to be reflected in your website. Then you would be clicking here on Update SDGs from API. But generally speaking, if you've made it to this point, we validated your content on UN Info, everything should be fine and ready. So I'm foreseeing that you're not going to be interacting a lot with this part of the website, but it's good that you know this. So, and then in terms of site settings, this is where you determine the front page. So this is where you have your site name, which in this case is Turkmenistan, but you would be putting in your country. Here's where you would be defining the featured story that you want in your home page, and you would be uploading the photo. And this is all self-generated. So if I delete this and I'm looking for that story, it's going to generate automatically here. So you don't even need to type it. Then this is the social and contact details. This is where you would be putting your Twitter account, Facebook account, Flickr, Instagram, YouTube. So any social media channels that your UNCT has, you can put them here and they will be shown across the website. This is where you put your address, your Google Map, if you have a Google Map, your contact details, the contact email, and then this is going to make more sense once we get into it, but this is where you would put your featured news story, your featured photo story, your featured video, and your featured resource, which in this case is a publication. We don't have any featured speeches, so please don't mind that. And then this is a section where you can add a description on your SDG landing page and the SDG's description. And then, of course, your Google Analytics property ID, which is also very important. So with that, this is how you define your homepage and some general information across your site. And then you would be going into content. So if we want to create an author, the way to do it is you would go to Author and Media Contacts. That's one way of getting there. The other way of getting there is to go to Add Content. And then you would also be able to add an author, and it's pretty much the same thing. So in this regard, let's go ahead and add an author. So I've got my file here ready, and then we want to add this one. So we're going to open this text. So this is what you would be inputting, right? So you would be going to put her name, Diana, her position, the agency, the photo, if she has any social links, phone, email, and a description. Because you would be adding a description if the person is part of our team, this is the UNCT. It's part of the UN media context, that is not necessary. Now, why did I pick Diana is because she's already part of the people that we have here. So we go to authors and we look for Diana. So this is the beauty of the IMS, right? So let's go to edit her profile, right? So this looks just like that blank page that we had. So her name comes in by default. Her position comes in by default. Her agency comes in by default. the only thing, and her phone number comes in by default, and her email. The only thing that does not come in by default is the photo. So let's just remove this for now. The way we would be doing this is you would go to photo, and here we go to desktop. Sorry about that. We would go here, author, and we would be adding her photo. And then you open it. And then this little X here that you see is where we want it to have like the focus of the photo. So we want her face to be the focus. And then we would, because she is part of the UNCG, so the communications group, we would be putting her under media contacts, publish, you save this. Oh, sorry, we need to put an alternative text. So for her alternative text, I would just be putting this right here. And then we do save, and that's that. And so this is her profile. And if we want to go ahead and see what this looks like, then let me just type that here. Let's add a tab so that you can compare. So we said Diana was part of the media contacts, and this is where she's at, right? So all of this information minus the photo is being pulled by the IMS. So that's pretty cool. So that's how you add an author. In the event that you have an author that is not part of the UN, then you would just go ahead and put the name, their position, and then if they're working in government or anything, you can just select none. You don't have to select one of these. If the person is part of the UN, then you would select which one. If it's not there, don't select any. So that is by way of agency. Now, if we want to create a story, right? So let's go back to content. We would be adding at content here. We would do a story. Oh, I just realized I went straight into an author and not an agency contact details. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and go with the story, and then I will go back to the agency contact detail. My bad. So in this case, we would select a story. So I go back to my thing here. So this is the story that I'm going to want to be putting. So I've got here the title, which I'll be selecting. Then do we have a text intro? The text intro has a character count. So this is the text intro, which, great, I still have 28 words remaining, character, sorry. So you can also add a little more or cut. And then we would put the dates. So that would be 01, 23, 2019. And then let's add that featured story. So the way you do it is you go to, let me show this again, you go to upload or select images, select a file. So I have photos under the story. So that's the first one, and you would open it. And then here's where you would be putting in your information. So in this case, you know, if I want, you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to use this. I'll use the same name for the alternative. And then here you would add an image caption, which ideally we want to have image captions. The image of, so that would be UN Rwanda and a caption. So I've pre-selected some captions here. In fact, so let me just put that right there. And then the photo we know is going to be right here. And then we can do a select entity. And then you've got your featured story right there. Now let's go to the text body. So what I've done is I've actually highlighted the captions that we have. So we would go here. So it'll ask you if if this is being copied from Word, if you're, depending on when you're copying it, it might want to clean your format. So you've got that. Then you want to add the foot assistance part right here. And then you can continue to add photos. So like this story has numerous photos. So we would go to select file. We would be selecting their second photo. And then here is, let's just use this quote. Sorry, this caption, even though it's It's not the one. Okay, let's just get rid of that there. But this is just for demo purposes. And this will go here. So here you cache with, right, and then you put that here, you would put that right there, and then you're ready to upload. Now once you upload this in the body text, it's going to ask if you want to display this as a full screen or a regular image. I'm just going to do regular image. If you've got like gorgeous photos that would look like really nice, then you can go ahead and add that. Okay. It's not letting me embed. I don't know what's going on. We already have it here. So let's just do select image, embed. There we go. And that comes in by default. Then you would continue adding more. So you just, that's their enter button. And then you can do that here. And then you add the second photo, which is the same drill basically, right? So you would go to, let me just demo one more. You would go right, okay. You would go to here. You would select next, sorry, you would upload another image. All right, you would, you can find something. So let's say this is one. This is about food again. So you would have the caption right here, the photo. You can you know, just doing this for demo purposes, and then you upload the image. And then I want to embed this as a regular image, embed. All right. So once you keep doing this, this is about food, right? So we continue going down. Who was this written by? This story was written by, let's see if we've got an author. So we have no author for this story, but let's say you know that this was written by Mahdi, for example. I know Mahdi, you're our signature example here. And then we're talking here about, we're talking about zero hunger. We're talking about, it's nurturing our bodies, food. So we're talking about good health and well-being. So here you would select the goals that you're supporting through this initiative. Responsible consumption, you just decide what it is that you want to put here. And then which UN agencies are involved. So in this case, if I'm not mistaken, we're talking about the WFP. So we would go here, the World Food Program, and then you would just hit publish and save. And this is how your story would look like. So you would have your title, your text intro, your photo. So your featured story, it does not have the caption. It's good that you add it for like the metadata. And if you decide to use it again, you already have that caption. But in essence, it does not come up as in the featured story. Then you've got your text, keep going there, and then you've got this your photo with the caption, etc. So one of the things that I do want to show you, and then here too, one of the things I do want to show you that is a feature, it's a fun feature that we've added, is if you've got quotes or anything by any chance, you are able to click on that. Sorry about that. So just click on that, you save, and then her caption or this person's caption or his caption would be popping up. So this is like a nice little break if you've got a long story and you want to add some captions. So that's what a story looks like. Then we've already covered the author. Sorry about that. So let's look at right here at content, and we're going to go to agency contact details. So this is where you would be adding, this is some probably information that you have on your spreadsheet. So I'm going to, again, borrow a spreadsheet from Turkmenistan. So if you go here, you probably already have the name of your agency there for the part of the UNCT, the address, and the phone number. So what you would do is just copy paste that into here. So you would, select the agency, the contact details, the agency emails, the social links, and you would publish this. And this would be feeding into the contact us section right here. So anything you add under agency contact details is featured here. So just take that into consideration. So if an agency has all of the social medias, then you can add all of their social media channels. If they don't have, that's fine. So this is where you would be adding that. Now let's go into the basic page. And what does a basic page mean? So the basic page is right here. We've got two templates for basic page. We've got the about the UN and about the resident coordinator. Then we put here photo of ladies with UN flag. You can decide what to name this here. And then we would be adding the milestones, right? So we've got, these are the milestones that our colleagues are working on. You would add them right there, select them all, and use the featured of numbers. So just do that, make sure that everything's covered. There should be 6, and that's it. And then you would, there's no staff member for this, and you would publish, or you can, let's preview it if you want. And this is what your site looks like. So you've got the name, the blurb, and then your milestones. So we did forget one thing, which is to put milestones right here. Milestones in Turkmenistan. Forgot that. Let me see if we're putting that. No, we're just calling it milestones actually. So let's just go milestones. And then for here, we would be selecting, sorry, I don't want to leave any spaces. For here, we would be selecting heading 2. Let's save that. There we go, heading 2. And this is what our site looks like. Now, because this is a demo, it's not populating the SDG site, but as you can see, it populates it once we go live. So that is what it entails to create a basic page about the country. Now, let's look at what it is to create another basic page, which would be the page for the RC. So we go to basic page, we select about the UN resident coordinator, we write here about the UN resident coordinator, and here we have our body text, which is voila, right here. So we would be copying all of this. Right here, okay. And then we just want to make sure that this is a proper list, that there's no list here. Nope, we don't want that. So just, and then here we have a staff member. So here we would pick the RC that we want to feature there. And let's preview it. And there you go, this is your site. Now, I didn't mention this when we were creating the authors, but just keep in mind that the RC does not come in via the IMS, so we would need to create the RC's information directly as in the content management system, so how I showed you. So this would be the only one not coming in from the IMS. Don't ask me why, we're looking into it, but at this point we don't have her or him by default. So we've already have the photo, the title, and the email, and their social media accounts. Now, let's look at what it takes to create a photo story and a video story, and that is quite easy, to be honest. This is the name, right? So it's actually international conference, right? And then we go back to our text. Then this is the short blurb that we need to add here, right? Then we add the URL. So you've already pre-uploaded this to your Flickr account right there. And then you have your date. And then let's just preview it. Very simple. It comes out pink because we're looking at it in preview mode. So our developers created a tool that would just create like a grid. So this way you don't actually have to upload as many photos. And this is a pretty cool feature. And then let's just hit publish so you see the difference between so if it's published, then it doesn't have that pink background. And that you pretty much create a video story in the same way. You would go to the video, you would put the title and the video URL, and that's it. There's no description or anything that you need to be worried about. So let's go back to content, and we would be adding, in this case, let's add a publication. This is one of my favorite content type features to add, and I'll show you why. So let me just close this. Voila. Okay, so let's go right here. Let's do publication. So you've got your short text for your publication. So, okay, that did not come out correct. Okay, so you've got your text intro. All right, okay. Okay, so clearly I should have not picked a French example. Okay, let's just keep it like that. And then you got your insert, so your title goes here, you put your date, and then you put a little description right here. Ideally not the same as the text intro. And then you do which goals you are supporting through this initiative. So let's say you need to select at least one. So let's say this one is peace and justice, right? So just note that you can't select all of them at the same time. You've got to click one by one. Sorry about that. And then here you would select who's part of this publication, right? So I don't quite remember who is in Benin, but let's say, let's just pick some here. So let's say UNDP, UN Women, WHO, UN Environment, UNESCO, right? So let's just select that. Now, if this is why I like this publication feature a lot. If you've created a publication with another entity that is not in this list, you can just add them right there. So, we publish things with civil society, with NGOs, with government, you would be able to put that there. Then you upload a featured image, which is the same way in which I showed you. Let's go here where we have our publication. This is the little photo that you would be uploading. Dimensions are, I believe, 640 × 810. I need to confirm that with you pixels, but so we've got the image, you put your name, you put your alternative text, your image, and then you select it, right? And then so this is something to keep in mind. If you've got your publication in more than one language, you can add the name. So you can choose a file. So this would be the file. And then here you say what language that's in. So you would say that's in French, and then you would create that media. And then if you've got another, so you would say publication. I like to put the name, let's say in English. I like to put it just so that I know. Let's just upload the same thing again, just so you see. And then we would be able to select here the language, and then you do create media, right? And so what this looks like in reality is if we go to resources, if we go to publications here, I'll show you what this looks like in reality. So let's say you've got your little thumbnail, your title, and then a short little description, and then who it was published by. And then right here, if you add more languages, you'll be having them here, and it counts how many people have downloaded your publication. So I think that's a lot of fun. And then goals that you're supporting, and then related resources. And these related resources are populated based on the SDG tags that you've done, right? So that's how you do a publication. And then let's look at speech. And I believe I forgot press release. It was not on my list. So let's also add a press release, which is very similar to a speech. So let's go to speech first. So here you would be, again, going into where you have all of your files. In this case, I've got my speech right here. So I've got the title. So I paste that right there. Then I would be looking at the text. Let me just actually, to avoid copy pasting so much, let me just put that here. Being mindful that I need to delete some stuff, right? So this is the text intro that I would be adding. This text intro that I would be adding right here, right? Then we know who the speech is by, Filippo Grandi. So Filippo, we would be going right here, speech by. Okay, he's right there. So I don't need to worry about that anymore. What agencies are involved? UNHCR. Okay, and then goal supporting is 10 and 16. So it's supporting goal 10, 16, and then let's look for UNHCR. Voila, it's right here. So I can just get rid of all of this, right? That's cool. And then the date, June 2017. So let's get rid of that, and then that's it. And then let's preview. And then here, this is also a really cool feature. So here you would get your statement with the little short blurb, and then the full statement underneath. The UN agencies, the goals, and then you have because we've already pre-added a photo to the author named Filippo Grandi, then hence why that photo shows up there. And let's look at press releases last but not least. So you would add content. You would do a press release right here. Let me see if I preloaded a press release. I did. Okay. So this is our press release. This is our title. Right, and then this is, sorry, this would be here, what we want to put. Let's just bring in the contact details right there. Okay, because we don't have her information. Human Rights Day, which touches upon very different things. So it touches on gender equality. So I think for this one, I would personally select all of them. Or let's just do gender equality. Good, right. So let's just do that for now. Then you would select the agencies. So let's say that in this regard, it was by UN Women, for example. I don't see, let's see, UN. Okay, right there, sorry. Sometimes it's just easier to do Control Find. And then here's where you would have all the media contacts that you've pre-selected as a media contact, since Natasha is not part of that. So we would have to first just save it, right? Because we don't have any media contact for this. Then we would go to author. So let's create the author. Let's see if we remember how to create an author. So we would go to authors. And if this was the demo for Rwanda, she would already be there because she's part of the UNCG. But in this case, we don't have her, right? So we would go to put her name, her position, which we don't have here, but we know she is RCO. We should be able to find Natasha. There we go. There she is. I pre-select it. I publish. And we've got her data here. So if somebody sees this press release, they know who to contact, right? So you would, if you're posting a press release from your agency, then you would put the media contact from your agency. So this is all we have for you today. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions or comments or any more things that you think would be helpful for a training video, please let me know. Thank you so much, and just have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are.